Hello and welcome back to the Single Society podcast. My name is Jo and this is the podcast that is all about reframing the conversation about being single, looking at it through the much more positive lens that it really deserves. Now, if you haven't already, I would love it if you would follow or subscribe to this podcast, depending on where you're listening to it. It really helps to grow this community and reframe that conversation so the more of us, the better, who are looking at being single in a new way. Now, today I am going to be thinking specifically about how we celebrate Christmas as a single person and some of the challenges that may come up for us if you celebrate. Now, the reason I've chosen to talk about Christmas today is that I grew up in a Christian family. I celebrate Christmas, but I am hoping that some of what I talk about will be really directly applicable to other festive celebrations as well, whether you're religious, if you've got a different religion, or whether you're not. Hopefully this will still apply. And of course you might celebrate Christmas even if you yourself are not a Christian. So essentially it's about the broader festive season. I've called it Christmas just because that happens to be what I celebrate, and so it's easiest for me to talk about, but this podcast should be really applicable. And as I say, I celebrate Christmas, but not perhaps in the most traditional ways. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube or on Spotify, you might be able to see the jumper that I've got on. For those of you that are just listening, I'm going to have to describe it because it's too good. I am currently today wearing a Christmas jumper where Father Christmas is driving his sleigh, but not of reindeer, of little dinosaurs, which I can't explain why. I just think it's hilarious. I think it's maybe the idea that Father Christmas has been delivering presents like even in prehistory. I think maybe that's why it amuses me so much. My mum thinks this is like just the most ridiculous jumper. I think it's hilarious. So if you're just listening, know that I'm wearing that, and if you're watching, hopefully you can see, because I think it's great. Excuse the fact that I am in a hoodie, but also, you know, it's Christmas. We need to be more relaxed. It's December. So this podcast is not about my jumper, apologies. I will dive into what I really want to talk about, which is thinking about how, as a single person, we can celebrate these big festive traditions in a way that truly works and feels aligned for us. Now, the reason I think sometimes this can be a little bit tricky is Christmas or other festive celebrations can really be a time where we're spending a lot of quality time, hopefully quality time, with other people, whether that's friends, family, can even just be colleagues in the build up to Christmas. We're around people a lot. There's a lot of like Christmas dues, a lot of things happening. And that can be really lovely. And it can also sometimes be a little bit draining. And also, it's also not true for all of us all the time. So sometimes there's this impression that everybody is doing lots of lovely things. And if you're not, there can be that feeling of missing out. And I think that it's one of the things that makes this an interesting time of year to explore, because how we all experience it is going to be very different. But I think that one of the real joys and privileges in being single is that you actually have more freedom and more flexibility than really anyone else to craft the Christmas that you actually want. So if you want to be more by yourself and have this as like a quiet, reflective period of the year, then great. That kind of ties in really beautifully with like nature's natural rhythms as well. We're in midwinter. If you want to just curl up and get cozy and stay at home and watch trash TV and drink hot chocolate, more power to you. I am absolutely there for that. That is wonderful. But if you would like this to be a more sociable season for you, you truly do have that choice. So that can be with friends and family, but perhaps you don't feel like you really have that circle at the moment. That's okay. There are so many events happening in your local area, particularly. So I run events in Manchester, Leeds, York, and Durham, and I'm from Manchester. And certainly I can say here there are like 101, 1001 things happening around Christmas, whether it's like Christmas socials, Christmas get-togethers, wreath making classes, making crackers. And then also volunteering things as well. So I think this is a really beautiful time of year to give back in some way to our communities if we can. So, you know, there's people doing Christmas meals for the homeless, there are charity drives, there's loads of things happening for children, people, charities trying to collect advent calendars. So if you would like it to be a more social season and you maybe don't feel you naturally have those people around you currently, then you can 100% still get out there. Just Google Christmas things to do in, and then wherever you are, just pop into Google the name of the place. And there's a lot of free things as well. So obviously if you're volunteering, that's going to be, you know, you get to do that for free, and you get to meet loads of like-minded people in your local community. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but I do think it's completely true that when you volunteer, yes, you're doing good, and yes, you're giving back, and that's a really beautiful thing to do. But there's also a real benefit to us. It helps us feel more connected. It means that we have that space to get to know others with similar values, to feel that we've been able to give something back, to do something a little bit more social, to lean into the festivities, you know, whether that's like crackers or Christmas food for people, baking cookies for children, whatever it might be. There's loads of different ways that you can give back, and it also has that wonderful added value of connection. And if you are seeing friends and family, if that is necessarily a sort of built-in expectation for you at this time of year, if there are people in your life that just kind of expect and maybe assume that you're going to be at certain things, then I think it's also really helpful to think about what your personal boundaries are with that. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but no really honestly is a complete sentence. You can absolutely say no to something, you can leave things early, you can say if it's too expensive, because I think one of the things of being single, the absolute classic for this is weddings, isn't it? Is going to something as a single person can end up being more expensive. Be honest about that. Yeah, we need to just say, like, it's not a bad thing, that's no reflection on you, that's just basic finances. So if you need to say no to something, or if you need to limit the way to do it, I would really encourage you to have those conversations. Now, I have a whole separate episode on how to handle the sort of tricky conversations that might come up around your dating life at this time of year. So, particularly if you're seeing family and maybe you don't see them all the time, a classic question can be about your dating life, and that might be an uncomfortable one for you to answer. I have actually already got an episode on this, but I think I'm going to do another one soon just to kind of update that, because I think that's one of the things I get asked about most at this point in the seasonal calendar. Is you're seeing people and you're maybe getting asked a lot of questions about your dating life, your love life, why you're single, which can be really insensitive. So I'll do another episode soon on how to sort of shut down those uncomfortable questions. And you know what, I'm going to bring that out for you guys next week actually. So if you haven't already subscribed or followed along, make sure you tune in next week as well, and I will have an episode specifically on how to shut down those more uncomfortable chats about why you're single. Ridiculous question. I will go into this more next week. But what I want to finish on is just to really underline, being single means you get to choose. You haven't got to fit in with anyone else. You've not got to do what a partner wants, what your family wants. You get to decide, do I want this to be my kind of hermit season and to just get cozy at home? Do I want to be more social? Go out and find things. You don't already have to have a pre-existing group with which to do them. Just rock up, make the most of what's in your community. Or are there expectations that I am at certain things and I want to put some boundaries in place? If you would like to, I do also run singles Christmas parties in the various different cities, so Manchester, Leeds, York and Durham, and you're obviously more than welcome at one of those as well. If you are currently looking to meet someone, and you might not be, that's fair play, but if you are interested, I will link the details of those events in this description as well. And as always, if you've got any questions, please just ping me a message. And if I don't speak to you before, have the most wonderful festive period, but I would encourage you to tune in next week, because I am going to do that episode on handling conversations about singles life. Take care, and I'll see you then. Bye.